Welcome to Evolve Here Now, the podcast for leaders who are advancing the meaning and impact of business success, full spectrum health, medicine, and high performance in all areas of life.
This is your home if you are a leader who is ready to step up your impact, inspiration, and personal evolution so that you can serve at the level you know you're capable of and beyond.
Join us now as we recharge, elevate, and accelerate you on your journey into this accelerated evolution community of the world's top influencers.
I'm your host, Talia Jacqueline.
I'm the founder, Satyan Raja, and once again, it's time to accelerate your evolution and your leadership.
Welcome to episode 3 of Evolve Here Now. Today I'm so excited to share with you a personal mentor of mine, friend, colleague, and truly a leader in all areas of life and especially in business. Jordan Birch is on the call with us today. Jordan also goes by Birchy, and Birchy is a master coach in training. He's been a master coach in training for 2 years now, is a personal and professional certified coach with the International Coach Federation. And Jordan just has a lot of experience, personal experiences that he's overcome that are going to blow you away, and really where he is today, which is truly the biggest inspiration. So here today, you really have the potential to learn a lot, a tremendous amount, just from hearing from Jordan and where he's been and where he is today. So Jordan, please welcome yourself.
Hello.
We've got
Thank you.
Satyan
Thanks, Jordan,
Raja as well.
Satyan.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out, Jordan, Talia. Thanks for making this happen.
Of course.
So, Talia, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, Jordan, I would love for you, first of all, to just give a brief background on who you are and who you are in our community, who you are as a leader in the world, and just share anything that you'd like to about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thanks for the opportunity and for having me as a guest. It's a real honor. Who am I? I think I'm probably still discovering that. I guess, what led me to get involved with Satyan and the Accelerated Evolution community is, in the first place, a couple years ago, was a desire to be a part of something, and learn a methodology that I could adopt and make myself more effective as a professional coach. So this is all that I do, as a professional. I do that, and I also lead a not-for-profit organization called Now That's Ugly Society, and be happy to share some stories from that hat that I wear there and the history of that. But firstly, I think it's just a real honor to be able to come and speak to the community that you guys have created and share in some of the wins and insights I've had over the couple of years, coming from sort of a struggling coach to now one that is experiencing a lot of prosperity in my role in the community. So,
Yes, thank you. And it's such an honor to have you. I mean, for those of you who don't know Birchy, he truly is a leader of leaders. And in my own personal life, since meeting him about 1.5 years ago, has truly made such an impact. So all of you listening, you really have the potential to be impacted in a huge way. So please tune in. And Jordan, share a little bit more about your experience. What led you to this community? Your motivation being wanting to be a part of something. But what really was driving you to find this accelerated evolution?
well, I mean, like any professional, I've done a lot of training over the years. My sort of specialty has been in outdoor experiential education and leading youth and corporate groups and outdoor leadership programming. Everything from ranging from summer camp, extended trip programming to adventure-based high ropes courses for corporate teams. And that kind of led me to do my master's degree in environmental psychology, because I was really interested in the relationship between the natural world and personal and professional development. But through all the training that I've had, there was still something missing. There was something missing. As I developed my private practice, I kind of I realized that I can only get my clients so far, you know. So I would hit sort of emotional stop blocks or traumas with clients, personally and professionally, and the sort of coaching just through the use of words and presence just didn't seem to be enough. And when I first saw Satien at an event and him sharing a demonstration of some of the processes that we've learned over the years, I saw immediately that that was something I wanted to add to my toolbox. There's many great things that have come from having that toolbox, both to work on myself, help my friends and colleagues, and then obviously improve my my service to my clients, right? So
Yeah.
That's awesome, Birch. You know, I'd like you to, what was it that you saw in these demonstrations? You know, what was the experience that made you go, I'd like to learn that?
well, first off, I mean, it was real, right? So it was a live demonstration of a method I'd witnessed you do a trauma release on in front of a group of people, and I saw you take someone from a really high state of anxiety and in a very compressed physical state to a very open, expansive, peaceful state in a very short amount of time. And I saw you do that in front of a lot of people in a very simple methodology. I guess the word is methodologically way, you know, like very simple. And I was like, I want that. I want that for myself. And I want that for those that I interact with. And it was interesting because when I reviewed sort of what the options to engage in further training and to learn that, I didn't realize that it was going to be more of a journey for myself than it was going to be for me improving myself as a coach. So,
Yeah. Yes.
Tell us about this. Tell us about this journey. I'm curious because I've seen you from the outside as your coach, as a trainer, as a facilitator, right? I've seen you from this particular vantage point, and it's always moving and fascinating for me to hear about what's it been like from you, because you know you're not the same. I mean, you are the same person you are, but you're not. You're a much more profoundly richer, deeper, calm,
Even
centered.
just in the past 6 months. I mean, it's amazing. And you've been in this community for 2 years now?
yeah,
So
in my third year. Yeah.
Third year.
So that's an outside reflection. Tell us a little bit about your journey through accelerated evolution.
Sure. Well, prior to seeing that, you know, I was I kind of identified myself as kind of an addict, you know, someone that I've got an extensive history of abusing drugs and alcohol and been to residential treatment and seen all the doctors there, you know, psychiatric nurses, the addiction specialists, the clinical counselors, you name it. I've done it. And I realized that through the processes that I've learned, through the methods, both giving and receiving, that there's something a lot simpler for me to actually heal myself, you know? And so really it was kind of the learning the processes for me was kind of like the crescendo of like the climax of over a decade of training and making a crap load of mistakes, really some really poor decisions, but it was really the crescendo that actually allowed me to feel very confident in my faith, in my own power. And of course, being held at a very high standard with a like-minded group of people allowed me to actually accelerate and expedite my professional goals really quickly. So,
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I know more of what background you've come from and what you've overcome, and I'd love for you to share that, because I think that it truly adds to how remarkable of a transformation you truly have had.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, I was kind of identified like I was kind of living a label, right? Having been a diagnosis of many different illnesses, from addiction to bipolar to obsessive compulsive disorder, you name it, to adult ADHD. Like, I've got all those labels. I kind of shed all of those, you know, throughout these last 3 years. And for me, it doesn't mean anything. I am who I am. And it's a real privilege to be able to say that in confidence and not have to adhere to some of the social paradigms around some of those illnesses that we all get asked to wear, you know. So that's been a really big win for me over the years as well.
Yeah, thank you. And
You know what I want to hear about? I want to hear a little bit about your wins with your clients. Like, what type of changes? Well, first of all, what type of people do you work with? Like, who are your clients? What have you experienced in coaching now? You know, with these tools behind your back. You know, tell me just share a little bit more about that. That would be very exciting for me.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always been an influencer and innovator myself, so I've always attracted those types of personalities. So sort of accomplished business leaders who have some type of project or initiative that is quite innovative, typically that is related to the environment in some way. And right now I'm attracting and cultivating some clients around that are working on some special projects, for example, that are like healing the world's water, you know, coming up with cutting edge technologies to, frack water from the oil and mining industry. Another client that I have right now as well, that's part of our Meaningful Business Alliance, is someone that's got a $150 million startup that's developed a aquaponics facility in the interior of BC. And you know what's really interesting about these men and women that are even much older than I am is that they're already they've got the business down, right? They've got the action oriented part down, right? They kind of been there, done that, but now they want to have a more meaningful way of doing it, right? So they want that for themselves, like they want to have more time freedom for themselves and the lifestyle that matches what they created the business for in the first place, right? And they also want to instill those heartfelt qualities into the operational guidelines and culture of their business. So one of the guys that I'm working with right now, a permission to share his name, Randy from NOAA Water Technologies, just a really cool cat. Like he's obviously one of the science brains behind this water technology, this water remediation technology they have, and he's been significantly traumatized through previous relationship that he's had, personal relationship, and now he's cultivating a team, right, in his business. And so I've been sharing some processes with him to allow him to dissolve the charge around some of those traumatic events that he's had, and now apply those. Set new trends with the new business relationships that he has, so that he can actually not do it on default, not hire the wrong person to manage his company, right? And not to take personal hardship when things don't go his way. So just as late as or as early as last week, really, I did a process with him, and he's now flying to another province next week to ask for funding for his project through a lender, and he's bringing that energy to his meeting, and I actually have the privilege of getting to meet with him the day before he goes to that meeting to ask for the funding and secure that relationship, and I'm going to be doing a process with him where he can adopt the character trait of the person he wants to be in that meeting. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, to clarify for those who may not know, there's a method in accelerated evolution where we can actually turn on the switch of a character trait that we value or we respect or we see in someone else. So it could be the sharp thinking of a particular type of person. It could be the big thinking of Elon Musk, or it could be the compassion of someone's grandmother, whatever. And it's really very powerful use of accelerated evolution, because I do the same, Birchie. Whenever I have my CEOs that I coach, when they're having a big speech or a talk or a presentation or a public presentation that they have to do, or shareholders meeting or staff gathering that is of high value and pertinence, then they come in for a powerful coaching experience. We do it over Skype, and by what I do is I find out where their biggest nervousness is, their biggest tension, if they have a feeling of I'm small or I don't know if I could do this or anything. I like to zero in on what's the biggest fear in that moment prior to the presentation. And then I zero in on that and I take them through an accelerated evolution experience and they come out of it the other end like, this is easy peasy, no difference. I can do this. I got it. I can handle it. And then they shine from this place of depth, a place of real empowerment, and coming from their natural self rather than from some pumped up state or some nervousness,
Yeah.
some shyness. They come from their true self. So thanks for bringing out that there's a powerful use of this in being at our top notch when we have to make an expression of influence.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting is I've done some prior coach training and certification, right? Prior to Accelerated Evolution, and if you open up any of the coaching books, one of the core elements of coaching is that identifying the client as a naturally creative, resourceful, and whole person, right? But it wasn't really until I got to experience some of these AE processes and see it, for example, with Randy or you with your CEO group, that to actually have them be in a place where they can feel naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. It's not just an idea; it's actually their being, and they can take action from that place. And there's a difference, right?
Yeah.
What type of things have your clients told you from working with you?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. Most recently, I got the comment about you enlivened something in me that I knew all along. Right? Or like, I didn't realize it was so simple. Right? Or it's like, I'm so glad we don't have to talk about it so much. Because the processes that we're using, right? With some pre-framing and the process and then some debrief, this really doesn't take a lot of time, right? Because you think about the demographic that we're working with, who has the time for that anyway, and who wants to talk about it over and over again? We've kind of all done that, like there's a shift happening now. Old school paradigm, sort of traditional types of talk therapy. I mean, there's a value in that, but now it's just with the way we're going culturally, there's just a greater demand and need for just a more effective, deeper, quicker experiences, right? To move past some stop blocks and attain goals.
Yeah. Actually, I'd love for you to share too. You worked with a client. You took on a client who was deaf, who had a hearing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, just incredible what you managed to do with her in that situation. So I'd love for you to share on that because it really speaks to how you've taken this on and how it can be applied.
Absolutely. That was a really special relationship that, firstly, you're thinking of someone that is probably also labeled with a disability, right? Mm-hmm. So over time, they've acquired all these different identities, right? About what they're not, what they are, and what they should be, right? Yeah. So at the very least, just establishing a relationship with someone like that was very valuable for her. And for me as well, because it was a project that was going to challenge me, in particular, how to communicate with someone, right? Both in person and through video, because we do a lot of these processes over Skype as well and other modes of communication. But in her particular case, she was a startup entrepreneur, and she just really didn't have the support. A lot of traumatic experiences, but super talented, right? She's a copywriter. And she really had a great resume of clients that she served, and she just couldn't get past the charge, like the emotional block that she was holding on from being ripped off in the past from other people, being taken advantage of. And so just through a series of, I actually did a 5-session journey with her, and just through a series of that, she was actually like opening up into her I would say almost divine self, where she actually had compassion for past experience, right? and she could realize that she had the power of choice to interact with people that weren't going to diminish her, right? So that evolved into, obviously, client acquisition. So she started getting more energy for client creation, got a new contract, those kinds of things, right?
And that was
So
in 5 sessions.
5 sessions, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Well done. Well done. What's the deepest reward for you? What's the deepest reward, personally and professionally?
I think being able to, I've worked really hard to get to where I am today. I've had a lot of adversity, no more, no less than the average person, but, almost having died many times. I think the greatest reward has been able to keep my sanity and my well-being by giving myself away to others, by giving my gift. I get to keep that by giving it away, and that's invaluable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, this is the biggest gift you experience this too, Talia.
Oh my God.
Such profound beauty in obviously receiving an accelerated evolution experience and coaching experience and being guided by someone is top notch. But the value, the beauty, the sacred fulfillment of being able to guide someone through long-term, short-term challenge, a goal they wish to experience, a true goal, and help them unveil all of that in front of them in taking the path of least resistance mentally and emotionally is a miracle. And we get to witness and usher and guide and midwife and coach and help people every week do this, every single week. And it's irreplaceable for me. It's irreplaceable.
It's such a gift. And one of the things that you said to me, Satyan, when I first met you was I was coming into Accelerated Evolution for my own healing. And you said to me, you'll heal by healing others. And that really is the truth. That really is the truth. In whatever field of help that you're in, for those of you who are listening, it really comes down to that. It really comes down to giving your gift and doing it from a place of truly just giving it. And what you get back, I mean, it's just magical. It really is so magical. It's like a journey like none other. So thank you so much for sharing that, Jordan. So valuable.
Jordan, maybe we can end up, you've shared a lot about yourself today and how on many levels. Thank you for being so candid and real. I always can count on you for that. And I'd like, why don't you share what you're up to now, how you serve people, how they can get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, one thing I didn't mention was, in all those years kind of using and doing research, right? I got really busy, right? Kind of busied myself and having a very public profile. And so what I'm up to now is really actually just, de-busying other accomplished business innovators and influencers, I've kind of focused on, I've created this concept called everything-itis, where you're, doing everything except what's really important. And so now I've really dedicated my private practice to helping those influencers, those innovators that are really want to put their foot down and say, busyness isn't respectable anymore, And I actually created a whole community around that principle. And I have a colleague, my business partner, Paul Tilla, who's doing some training with the AE Academy as well. And it's called the Meaningful Business Alliance. We're essentially a mastermind community of accomplished, innovative business leaders from around the globe. Now we're in multiple countries, and we're committed to the mastery of lifestyle, right? Having a really kick-ass lifestyle and mindset of abundance, right? Stewardship of the world's resources, giving and receiving, and actually experiencing total freedom, and having really good experiences with their friends and family. So I've created a very simple, through my learnings through the academy here, I've created a really simple format to serve and give my gift, and also give me more time for my friends and family as well. So that's what I'm up to.
Yeah,
And how can they get a hold of you?
Let's see. The best way to get a hold of me actually is probably just through our website, right? Which is meaningfulbusinessalliance.org. And of course, I'm more directly. Just pick up the phone and call. I'd be happy to provide my number as well if you see fit.
Yeah, please go ahead and share it.
Yeah. My number is 604-833-6858, and that's Canadian area code 604. So just pick up the phone, and that's where it starts with a conversation, right?
Yeah, and I'll speak from personal experience. To be on the receiving end of your gift, especially in the Meaningful Business Alliance and just in your own personal coaching, it's a gift beyond words. So if you guys are feeling called to receive that, definitely.
Absolutely. Take your curiosity and turn it into some progressive action, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your experiences, and it's truly remarkable to me as a colleague and a friend of yours, just how far you've come and where you're going. So thank you for sharing all your experiences, because I'm sure so many people who are listening, for those of you who are, relate and can learn and can grow just from hearing that from you. So thank you so much for your presence and for being on today on the show. And for those of you who wish to reach out to Jordan, please do.
Absolutely. I welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Birchie.
All right.
And again, thank you to both of you.
Keep up the great work, brother. Love you, man.
Thank you. Love you too.
Thanks, Talia.
Bye.
Great job.
Love
Thanks for
you.
everyone for being on today and hearing what we have to share. All right.
Talk soon.
Ignite passion, live freedom, embody some more love, make it happen.
Bye for now.
Guys.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on Evolve Here Now. To learn more about our programs, retreats, trainings, and to be a part of our community, go to acceleratedevolutionacademy.com.